Every great work of art contains a touch of strangeness, an often overlooked detail that unlocks its power. The Mona Lisa is no exception. We all know it is the most famous painting ever created. We all know her smile. But within Leonardo da Vinci's masterpiece, there is another detail that opens the door to astonishing realms of thought and feeling, a detail that reveals what Leonardo was trying to tell us with his mysterious portrait, a detail that alone explains what the Mona Lisa is really about. Welcome to Art Understood. In 1852, so the legend goes, 3.5 centuries after Leonardo began work on the Mona Lisa in 1503, an aspiring French artist by the name of Luc Maspero opened the window of his 4th-story Paris hotel room and jumped to his death. The note that Maspero left behind explained the reason for his inconsolableness. For years I have grappled desperately with Mona's smile. I prefer to die. While there are reasons to doubt whether Mona Lisa ever actually drove artists to take their own life, nobody is sure if the artist Luc Maspero ever even existed, there is no denying the torturous hold Leonardo da Vinci's preposterously famous painting has exerted on the minds of those who have encountered it. In 1854, a French art critic, Alfred Duménil, tried to capture the essence of our obsession with Mona's smile. The smile is full of attraction, Duménil wrote, but it is the treacherous attraction of a sick soul that renders sickness. This so soft a look, but avid like the sea, devours. The French historian Jules Michelet was similarly suspicious of the hold Mona Lisa had on cultural consciousness. Beware, he cautioned his readers, this dangerous picture acts upon you through a strange magnetism. This work, he admitted, calls me, invades me, absorbs me. I go to her in spite of myself, as the bird goes to the serpent. Nearly from the moment that Leonardo began work on the portrait of Lisa del Giocondo, the wife of a Florentine silk merchant, her likeness has bewitched those who've gazed at her. What enthralls us most is Mona's uncanny ability to seem at once utterly real and utterly ghostly, convincingly lifelike, yet eerily otherworldly. The celebrated Renaissance historian and biographer Giorgio Vasari, from whom most of what we know about the work's commission, creation, and reception comes, concludes his comments on the painting in his Lives of the Most Excellent Painters, Sculptors, and Architects with a paradoxical observation that, in this work of Leonardo, there was a smile so pleasing that it was a thing more divine than human to behold, and it was held to be something marvelous, in that it was not other than alive. Forever flickering on a threshold between a being more divine than human to behold, as Vasari said, and yet, at the same time, not other than alive, the Mona Lisa embodies a restless magic that agitates the imagination. She's neither here nor there, mortal nor immortal, yet all at once. Flip open just about any conventional history of art, and you'll find the key facts about what makes Mona Lisa tick as an aesthetic object. You'll read that the painting's power arises from Leonardo's invention of groundbreaking artistic techniques, such as the smoky, hazy way that colors fade softly into one another, or what's called sfumato, and how Leonardo's virtuoso handling of light and shade, particularly around Mona Lisa's lips, a technique known as chiaroscuro, gives elasticity to her expression. Most descriptions of the painting will tell you also that Mona Lisa's posture, the way she sits in 3/4 profile, was cutting edge in the early 16th century, and how her air of quiet confidence, the way she commands the space, is a radical departure from how women were previously depicted in art. Other critics will focus your attention on the blurry background, how the horizon lines over Mona Lisa's left and right shoulders don't quite line up, a mismatch that agitates our eyes, while others will dwell on how her modest attire is designed to keep our attention squarely on her face. There is no doubting that all of these elements are vitally important to why Mona Lisa is significant to art history, and there is no denying that they add to the intensity of Leonardo's powerful portrait. But they don't explain what the painting is actually about. They don't tell us what Mona Lisa means. In 1873, the English essayist Walter Pater tried to isolate the essence of Mona Lisa's eternal allure. "She is older than the rocks among which she sits," Pater memorably writes. "Like the vampire, she has been dead many times and learned the secrets of the grave." Perceiving the Mona Lisa as inhabiting a mystical realm between the real world in which we encounter her and an invisible one to which she's been and may, at any moment, return, Pater comes closer to identifying the portrait's soul than anyone before or since. But it's what Pater says next that is most startling, most revealing. His conclusion that Mona Lisa is, at her most elemental, one with one of the elements, water. Mona Lisa has, Pater says, been a diver in deep seas, and keeps their fallen day about her, and trafficked for strange webs with Eastern merchants. At first blush, Pater's shape-shifting descriptions seem excessively strange. How on earth is Mona Lisa a diver in deep seas, or a wave-weary trafficker with Eastern merchants? What could possibly lead Pater to conclude that Mona Lisa's spirit is one of ceaseless fluid flux, a force of nature that ebbs and flows, rises and recedes over time like water in a well? Pater, in fact, has put his finger on something that Mona Lisa herself has put her own fingers, a crucial clue to the painting's meaning towards which she has been gesturing for half a millennium. The round chair from which Mona Lisa stares out at us, and to which her fingers point, would have been known by the artist's contemporaries as a pozzetto. Pozzetto means little well, and its presence in the painting as the very foundation on which Mona Lisa sits is no accident. At its most basic, this little well reflects Leonardo's own scientific interest in all things hydro and aquatic. Leonardo was, in fact, utterly obsessed with water, which he once described as the driving force of all of nature. Leonardo's earliest known drawing, from 1473, when he was just 21, depicts a rapid riverscape as water rushes over rocks. From there, he would spend the rest of his life in sketch after sketch, trying to capture water's elusive essence as it ripples in closely observed pools and swells apocalyptically in imagined floods. Leonardo would even design an ingenious mechanism for coaxing water from deepest wells. Even within the painting, we can see that fascination pulsing through the rocky streamscape behind Mona Lisa, which some historians believe depicts the valley of the Italian river Arno, which flows into and out of her, blurring the fluid line between her and the world she inhabits. She and the water are one. In visual terms, the pozzetto, the little well, connects the portrait of Mona Lisa with countless biblical representations of women at the well before her, from Eleazar meeting Rebekah in the Old Testament to Christ's encounter in the Gospel of John with a woman from Samaria, where he introduced the metaphor of living water that he alone provides. The little well, with its faint hint of a hidden aquiferous system sprawling below, implicates Mona Lisa in the eternal current of creation. The pozzetto is the material clue that Mona Lisa is, in fact, an archetype of life's endless flow. The little well subliminally reinforces the sense that the Mona Lisa is poised precariously between the phenomenal world of the here and now in which we encounter her and the unfathomable depths into which she could, at any moment, plunge and disappear, taking with her the secret knowledge of her own raging infinitude. Thank you so much for watching. Please hit the like and subscribe buttons below if you want to see more videos like this one. Let me know in the comments what you think about the Mona Lisa. And if you'd like to discover more key details that unlock great works of art, check out my book, A New Way of Seeing: The History of Art in 57 Works. Until next time.